Hi, Tyler. Oh, it's so
Oh,
lovely to see you.
it's
I've
good.
heard so many lovely things about you from Mo Collins. So, and as you know, Mo Collins is superhuman, and so wonderful. So, if she is raving about someone, then you know they must be very special.
Good.
So,
I didn't expect her to just be so nice. Like about me, I'm like, I'm not that special. I'm just doing something new and something, bringing something out there for the fans. And we've had COVID, so there's nothing. There's been not a lot of light, and I just want to bring light.
hmm well, she says that that is exactly what you're doing.
Thank you. I've got a bunch of verbally from the new episode, which is it's it was amazing. Like I did not expect it to go the way it did. And were you told beforehand that you were gonna lose the baby, or were you thinking you were gonna die?
So Ian and Andrew, our showrunners, had sat me down. This is pre-pandemic, and we had talked about Grace's arc, where it was going. So I knew right from the get-go what was happening with Grace's situation. I knew I was that Grace was going to lose the baby. Um, Ian and Andrew, we've had many long, extensive conversations about uh, bringing as much authenticity to the gravity of the situation that Grace is in. And certainly from season 5, when she's introduced into the Fear the Walking Dead universe, we know that her life is very much against a ticking clock. She's been exposed to copious amounts of radiation back at the nuclear power plant, um, and this pregnancy was very much not expected. Um, it's one thing that Grace knows and is very well aware that her life is at risk, and it's only a matter of time. Uh, but now the stakes very much were risen when with the pregnancy, and we all know that there is a big risk not only to Grace's life, uh, but also to the baby's life. So we were just doing an interview, and Mikey was saying that at Chernobyl, Hiroshima, 98% of the cases, the baby absorbs the radiation from the mother. So the twist of being maternal, seeing a
Yeah,
very different side of Grace, maternal, the mama bear coming out, which was so wonderful to play for Grace because we've never seen her like that before. Grace is very pragmatic, methodical. She's guided by facts, not emotions, and to see this other side of her with her baby to do whatever it takes to deliver a healthy baby and to have a safe delivery. That's what she is so focused on, even if it means the cost of her own life. If it means that she can bring her baby into this world, she knows that this baby will be in the best care, with Morgan and the group, um, and the community that they're trying to establish.
yeah,
And that gives us a lot of peace and comfort, where we see in her unconscious state this opportunity for her to get to know her daughter, only for that cruel twist at the end where it wasn't to be.
I didn't expect it at all. You watch that kind of, you kind of forget that that can happen. If that's real life, you can lose a baby that way. You completely forget that happened in a unrealistic zombie apocalypse show. So it doesn't, you think, oh yeah, Grace is gonna die, and I don't know how many people predicted the baby, but I definitely did.
Yeah, yeah. In this universe, being pregnant in this universe anyway,
It's not
regardless
good.
of, you know, is really difficult. That you're limited on supplies, and it's you know, sadly, when I was doing a lot of research, um, there are many women that have experienced infancy loss, miscarriage. Um, it's um, it's sadly so common.
Yeah.
Um, And I'm really proud of our universe that we've been able to, if we've been able to shed some light or bring some awareness on infancy loss and postnatal depression. um, it's an important and very delicate and sensitive subject matter, and I know how important it was for all of us to handle this storyline with the utmost care and sensitivity, and authenticity as well.
Definitely, definitely. What was your favorite episode, favorite scene to film during your unconscious state? Because it was so beautifully filmed, and I this is probably a stupid question, but was the pink plants, were they real or they uh CGI'd on?
So that was all done in post production. We were filming this around Christmas time, so so it was it was a bit difficult to find to find these lush trees. But as Mikey said, Michael Satrazemis, our wonderful director, who's such a visionary, he wanted to find, together with our locations manager Logan, to find these locations that had evergreens, and it was so magical. It was just it was like a blanket of evergreens, and they did all of the rich pink fuchsia tones and hues in post production. But in my mind, everything was going to be pink. So, and they would show me, our DOP, Jalaluddin Trotman, who's so magnificent and just makes every detail and color just pop and come to life. They would take me aside in between takes, and they would give me an idea of what it would look like. So I had it always in my mind that when I'm lying on the ground in the beginning in that opening scene,
Yeah,
and I open my eyes, all I see is nothing but pink. In my mind, everything was just pink. So the little girl in me was very excited because
definitely.
gotta love pink.
What was your favorite scene to film that episode?
You know, because from an actor's point of view, this whole episode was such a gift.
Definitely.
Um, I was challenged emotionally, physically, spiritually in ways that I've never have before. Um, and it was a thrilling experience. It was there were moments of lightness, um, which we needed so much, throughout the episode. And then we had those really just tragic moments too. As an actor, you want to be stretched and challenged. You want to be thrown into the deep end and kind of hope for the best and trust that you will make it to surface. But um, so I know it sounds, for lack of a better word, favorite scenes. I mean, as an actor, the whole trajectory of where Grace was going
Yeah,
in this episode was excited me. But if I'm just looking from if I'm just looking at the episode itself, I had so much fun because it was very much look, and I love Lenny. I
yeah,
do, very much, Grace and Morgan. It's their journey together. But it was really nice to have the rest of the cast, 16 years ahead into the
yeah. That was
future,
really cool.
and everyone playing dress up. And I remember when I was seeing them all for the first time, Jenna, Ruben, Coleman, Christine, Austin, Mo. It was so exciting to see this transformation of what everyone looks like 16 years ahead. Even Lenny, it was so funny. And Lenny said, "Well, how is this fair that you haven't aged?" And I'm like, "Well, this is my dream. I get to do whatever I like." So everyone's moved forward onwards, 16 years ahead in the future. And that was so much, not only such a fun day to
Yeah,
film, but it brought so much joy and light even to Grace, knowing that Athena would be fine, that everything was going to be okay because she would be surrounded by a loving community, and to have a father like Morgan. So,
one of the best.
I think that was it was kind of the send off she thought she was getting, that she needed.
Yeah, definitely. For as you know, as you are very, very British, is it do you stay in character as in your American accent entire day, or is it just while filming?
That's a really good question because My friends and my family back home, they tease me a lot. They say, "Oh, you're starting to sound a bit more American." And I'm like, "Ah," and I said it's really difficult because when 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 you're working, incredibly long hours on set, and you're essentially doing an American accent, something's going to filter through.
Yeah,
Um, but I there's no wrong way of approaching it. Every actor has their own method that works for them. Some days I feel I need to talk in an American accent in between breaks just to keep it going because it's a muscle, isn't it? It's a muscle, and the only way I can sort of symbolically or metaphorically explain to everyone is that it's one thing when you have a lot of lines and dialogue and
yeah,
then you want to tell the story and just be present in the moment and not have to think about accents or anything. But literally, the information is going in my head like this machine. And it's going in British and then it has to be chugged out American. So there are moments in between which make for a great blooper reel where I will say a line and all of a sudden I'll stop midway and I'll be like, wait a second, I just said that in my accent. It sounds terribly English. Um, can I just do that again so I can sound American? It'd be really funny. There'd be moments like that. But I forget when I'm with Lenny, for example.
yeah.
He has a fantastic American accent. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're my British comrade here. And here we are both talking to each other in American accents. It's so important to keep that muscle going. And if it means that at times I do have to talk a bit more in between breaks in an American accent just to keep the muscle warm, then I will. But otherwise, most of the time I don't. It's as soon as I'm on set, that's Grace.
Yeah.
And as soon as they call action, um, I hope for the best and trust that Grace will come out. It's
Yeah,
amazing what an accent can do as
yeah,
well. It does,
forget.
I feel like it does put me in Grace's shoes. Um, there's so much about Grace that I can relate to, and there's so much about Grace that we're very different on. But I celebrate that, and as an actor, those are the things that are so much fun to infuse in Grace and play out.
I was going to meet you at a con, but I didn't have the time, which is so annoying.
I know with the convention routes, it's been really challenging
Yeah.
this past year and a half. We all miss it. It's such a wonderful way to bond with our cast members, but bond with our fandoms, of the shows that we've been on, to travel. It's this happy marriage of so many things, and yeah. But I'm grateful. We have to take the small wins. I feel
Yeah,
like so much of our show is when the pandemic happened, it was like life. It was our life mimicking our art. And I was like,
yeah,
well, seeing the news with the empty grocery store shelves, I was like, wait a second, that's our show. Um, it's finding the small wins, I
yeah,
feel. And if anything, being on a show that's set against an apocalyptic backdrop in so many ways did help me during
yeah.
this pandemic because you have to take those small wins and find your gratitude in those small wins. And having Zoom, having
Um,
FaceTime, I try to focus on that. I haven't seen my family in over a year, and it hurts my heart and my soul so much. But I'm like, what would Grace do? What would the gang do on the show? I would find my moments of joy wherever I could, get my hands on. And I think there was an article that came out. This is at the start of the pandemic, and they were talking about season five and how our whole ethos in season five for the group essentially were these care packages that were dotted about everywhere in the
yeah,
apocalypse and signs that said, take what you need, leave what you don't. And they were kind of um, embracing this
mm,
and trying to do some good in their neighborhoods. And that just when Ian and Andrew sent that article to all of us, it just lifted our spirits. um, and so nice to know that our show can inspire people to
yeah,
help each other. And this particular episode, as heartbreaking as it was, um, it was such a gift of an episode for
yeah,
me as an actor to do, and the chance to really to really get into Grace's shoes, um, and go to places that I've never been before. Um, but it was such a beautiful episode in itself. It's something that we've never done aesthetically or stylistically before. It felt very much like a mini movie in itself.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for the experience. We have such a wonderful TV family. Our cast creators, our crew, we're all very close, and we're all cheering each other on. And it's such a wonderful family to be a part of. And when we're able to do what we love to do, especially during a pandemic,
Yeah.
you know, it's a it's a big win for all of us. We're so grateful to be able to create and do what we love to do during these challenging times.
In the same episode where Virginia died, when you were, how awkward was that filming with the belly bump and having Colby's hand in? Was the belly hard to work with, or was it pretty light?
You know, like special effects on our show, I mean, they're so amazing. It's amazing. If anything, I miss wearing that belly. It kept me warm during those cold, crisp nights on set.
Yeah.
I miss the belly. And it's so funny because when you're used to having the baby bump, you instinctively, as you know, especially maternally, you want to touch your bump all the time.
Yeah.
I felt like just automatically wanting to you know touch the bump, as did everyone else.
And you have to walk.
It was they made it so comfortable. It was a strap on at the back, and it was very, very comfortable. Obviously, with Virginia losing her hand, that posed a bit of a challenge. How she was going to, sort of have me at an arm hold. So we had to. I think I posted, you would have seen, maybe you might have seen, there's a behind the scenes video of where they cut a hole into the foam bump so that Virginia's hand could sit comfortably and then create the effect,
Yeah.
right? And I love it. I mean, you would never know. And
No.
if anything, after kneeling for hours on end, and of course we had, even with kneeling cushions, with cushions underneath our knees, in that particular scene. I was so grateful to be in an arm hold with Colby, who was so lovely to work with, because it gave my knees a break. So it was really wonderful. And just walking backwards, it was all Colby. And I knew I was in the best hands and safest hands with Colby. She's such a phenomenal actress. And gosh, that scene was just, everything was
It was
just
an
happening in
amazing
that
episode.
scene. And in that moment, for Grace, it was just trying to be calm and trying to make, if this was it, I think that there was a moment where Grace is singing to her baby bump,
Yeah.
is talking to her baby, is apologizing, saying, if this is it, I'm so sorry that I couldn't do anything more to protect you. It's such a powerful moment. I remember Mo. Um, I hadn't told Mo what I was going to do, and in that moment, Mo said she was just fighting back tears because she was beside me and she could hear exactly what I was doing. Um, it's just such a powerful moment. There's so many of these moments, as you know, in our universe, that just raise the stakes and just keep us all on the edge of our seats. And that
Yeah.
scene definitely was one of them.
I told Mo, if Virginia dies, I have to come to America and write. So I've got to get there now. So
Tal, it was so lovely. It was so lovely
thank you.
speaking with you.
Thank you
Um,
for thank you for your time. It's been great.
yeah, no, no, it was so lovely. Courtney, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Not a
Thank you so much.
problem, guys. Thank you both so much and have a good day.
You
See
too.
you
Thank
guys.
you. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Have
Thank
a
you.
good one.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Courtney. Bye, Tyler.